Oh my God, you're gonna die laughing. So Steve and I'm gonna age myself massively. Steve and I met on MySpace.
Yes.
And we met like because of my pathological obsession with Robbie Williams. Like I'm a very, very good fan of I'm an obsessed fan of very few artists. I don't have the mental capacity for a lot of music, but the music that I do listen to, I'll know every lyric, every line, every guitar riff, every bass. If I hear an alternate version and there's just one drum snare that's all, like I'll know. So Robbie Williams is one of those artists. I started listening to him when I was 14, and a friend of mine who was German, because he wasn't famous in America. Nobody knew who he was in America. Still kind of. I mean, he did an amazing residency. I went to go see him in Vegas, but when I ask people if they know Robbie Williams, usually their answer is like, Robin Williams? Like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
you idiots. Robbie Williams, he's broken world records, you morons. But he never really caught on as crazy as he did in America. So when I was in Europe, when I was a kid, a friend of mine who was Austrian handed me five of his records. She said, I just think you're going to love him.
Yes.
And love was an understatement. I mean, I thought we were going to get married because I was 14, and Robbie Williams did not love me, which is very sad. But his music, I'd say, aside from maybe George Michael, was probably the number one inspiration for me wanting to be a songwriter and a singer.
Wow.
The number one. I used to call into the radio. I was such an asshole. I used to call in when I was 15. I used to call into the radio stations in America. They'd be playing Jessica Simpson's version of Angels because she covered. Do you remember that when she covered
I
Angels?
don't remember Jessica Simpson's version, probably because the Robbie Williams one was so huge over here.
Right.
Nothing
Oh my
else
God,
stood a
exactly.
chance.
Well, the UK probably never played her version because it's blasphemy. Like, she's really talented. She's got a beautiful voice, but I was so obsessed with Robbie Williams that I would call in and be like, what are you doing? This is ridiculous. You should be playing the original version, you morons. And they're just like, who the hell is this kid who's talking about? They're like, I'm sorry, man. Like, everyone wants to hear Jessica Simpson. She's hot. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. So when I first started songwriting, this is how I got to Steve Power. When I first started singing and first started songwriting, I knew nobody. I didn't have any connections. I didn't know anybody in the music business. And I was just like, well, I guess it couldn't hurt to maybe reach out to somebody. So I literally just looked in Robbie Williams's records and I saw who his producers were, right? So it was Guy Chambers and,
Yeah.
and Steve, right? At the time, like he was producing and, working on a lot of his records. So I found Steve on MySpace like 10 years ago. I found him on MySpace. I was like, I didn't even have it. I didn't have a demo. I didn't have anything. I had like maybe three live tracks of me singing some Sinatra shit or something. It was insane. So I just wrote it and I was like, hey, you're gonna think I'm insane, but I'm really a big fan of you, and I really love your stuff, and I'm obsessed with your stuff with Robbie Williams, and I just wanted to say hi. I'd really like to work with you someday, and it started the beginning of one of the most beautiful friendships I've ever had. Steve is now one of my best friends.